Namaskar friends. We are going to start module 12 of the stress management course and I am your course instructor Dr. Shubhra Sinha. This module focuses on the basic principle of health management which goes like prevention is better than cure. Till now we have talked a lot about how to reduce stress once it is created in your life. But in this module I am going to discuss something which is deeply related with how stress can be prevented from being generated in our lives. Obviously, if we are living a relatively stress free life, I use the term relative because it is not possible to eliminate stress altogether. However, if we are relatively stress free means the level of stress present is much less than our own coping abilities, then it is not going to create much trouble for us. And this is the aim of this module. In this module, we will be talking about life skills which are very important in 21st century. This 21st century is characterized by high pressure, workload, time constraints, lack of social skills and many other things like that. Therefore, if we try to inculcate some important life skills in us, this can help us improving our efficiency for day-to-day interactions with other people and for managing our own routine tasks more effectively, thereby reducing the level of stress substantially. So, with this goal, let us start module 12, the life skills. This is lecture 1 and we are going to talk about life skills, their basic concept, the key aspects of life skills in stress management, importance of life skills, and we will also talk about some quick stress management techniques which are there for immediate relief. So, let us begin our discussion. Life skill is basically a set of skills required to manage one's life in an effective and productive manner and to enhance one's quality of life. So, it is the set of a skill with which we can do two things which are very important. What are these things? First, we can lead our life in an effective and productive manner. Effective means whatever we are doing, it must have a positive impact. It must be capable of yielding the desired outcome. If we have put a lot of effort, we have consumed a lot of time, but the end result is completely zero, it is not an effective management of work. So, in order to be effective, it means we are ensuring the achievement of our desired goal at least to a satisfactory extent, and productivity is also linked to the same idea. And the second important thing that we can do with the help of life skills is enhancing one's own quality of life. Friends, it is important to have a lengthy life, a long life, but it is equally important to have a fulfilling life. Adding years to life merely will not do unless we add life to those years. In order to do it successfully, we have to have certain life skills with the help of which we can work on the quality of life that we have. Similarly, these abilities also help us handling the challenges and demands of our daily routine life. See, it happens rarely that we come across with very big problems. Sometimes we can, but mostly the things which keep us puzzled, which pressurizes us or which really cause a lot of stress to us are very minor, they are related to our routine daily life. So, if we manage our life in a better way, maybe we can do away with this kind of stress which is produced on a daily basis, and we have to keep ourselves in a struggling mode all the time. These skills and the abilities can be related to our thinking, that is the cognitive domain, or our behavioral repertoire. Maybe we need to inculcate to learn some new things or new ways to do the old things. And of course, these are very essential for success in different areas of life. So, what happens with life skills? If you look at these three small windows, they can summarize the things for you. First, these things are essential for personal success and well-being. So, no matter how we define success, within home or outside home, if we are capable of managing our tasks successfully, we must have life skills for the same. Then it makes it easier to live by improving our emotion regulation. You can find it here, building positive relationships with other people and enhancing happiness and health, the positive health status of an individual. So, these are the four distinct advantages of learning and practicing life skills. And finally, it can reduce our dependence upon counterproductive things like substance abuse, aggression, violence, smoking or alcoholism. Things like that can be much reduced if we develop this particular set of skill which we are referring to as life skills. Coming to life skill and stress management. Basically, for learning and practicing life skills, it is not necessary to be stressed. Rather, it is a way to avoid stress in future and in present. If we handle the things more systematically, more effectively, we are probably avoiding the chances of stress being generated in our life. But what if it has been generated already? Whether life skills are going to help us reducing that stress level also? Yes, definitely they can. Now, how they can do it? We can employ these life skills to personal, social and work life. Everybody has different domains of life. Our personal life, when we be with our family or alone, engaged in self-care and doing many things related to that. Our social life, being with family members, with friends, being in public places, and the work life where we are preoccupied with the profession we are in. We can employ the life skills in all these three dimensions. Then if you employ them successfully, it manages the level of stress and it reduces the stress level greatly. This approach of applying life skills to manage stress of your personal, social and work life is known as life skill stress management. We have learned so many strategies and skills of stress management, and life skill stress management is one of them. If we want to manage stress through this approach, we have to identify the cause of stress and then we must select a suitable strategy with which we can encounter that cause successfully. Moreover, we have to modify our daily habits. Daily habits are the big source of stress, as well as healthy habits are the very strong buffer against any harmful consequence of stress. So, if we want to reduce stress with life skill approach, we need to modify our habits. If I find a habit of mine that is getting up late in the morning creating a lot of stress, because once I get up late in the morning I am left with very less time to complete my important course. Many times I enter late into my workplace, which causes additional stress because sometimes I get negative remark from my boss, or simply I feel guilty when I step up the stairs of my office late in the morning when all others are working. It gives me a sense of being inefficient, incapable, or a careless employee. Or sometimes I may not be able to manage the very important assignments at home, and I keep feeling guilty whole day that I have missed some important things and others will be suffering because of my incapability. So, if this simple habit is making a lot of stress for me, can I modify it so that I can have a couple of hours extra in the morning to complete all my assignments comfortably, and that to be in time for my office also? Of course, this is called life skill management. Similarly, if I try to look for the range of these life skills, I find them varied and many, but basically these varied life skills belong to three different categories. One is known as thinking skills, that is the problem solving and creativity skills. Basically these are the skills which is highly connected with the cognitive aspects of our life, the way we process information, the way we make decisions, the way we solve the problems. Next set of skills are known as social skills and emotional skills. So, in social skills, communication and relationship development and maintenance is very important, and in emotional skills, self awareness and emotion regulation is of prime importance, right. So, this segment will be elaborated very soon in the coming lecture. But before I talk about more long lasting changes that must be made, let us take you to a drive of some quick strategies that can reduce the stress, or at least experience of a stress immediately, and leave the individual better able to focus on long term strategies to manage stress. So, let us see what are these. Here are the three quick strategies which can give you relief from an intense stress experience. First one of them is deep breathing. The second one is of course practicing mindfulness, and the third one is progressive muscle relaxation. So, these are the first, second and third techniques that can be employed quickly within few minutes, and you can find the results immediately. So, let us talk about them a little more. So, the breath deep. This is the exercise designed by Harvard Medical School, and they say that breath can control the level of stress that we experience. So, we must take a deep breath. I can close my eyes, you can close your eyes, then you can imagine yourself relaxing, and you can take a deep breath in the count of 4, and then you can exhale it again in the count of 4. Means inhale the air and keep counting 1, 2, 3, 4 slowly. Hold it for a moment, maybe you can count 1 and 2, and then start exhaling again on the count of 4, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you pushed all the air out. Okay. So, this is the technique of deep breathing which can be repeated unless the person starts feeling relaxed. The second is of mindfulness. This is a very effective technique. We have been talking about it off and on, and mindfulness is a practice of being aware of the present moment. Many times what happens that we are stressed because we have been thinking about what has happened in the past, which was unpleasant, which was emotionally arousing, and I am still living in those past moments only, experiencing the same kind of emotion. Another possibility is I am imagining a future course of happening. What can happen in future? What would be the flavor and color of my future? How do I am going to tackle those things? So, if I am too much absorbed thinking about future and suppose the imagery that I am having is negative, it is pessimistic, it is hopeless, not according to what I think it should be, again I will be feeling stressed. Sometimes people are so imaginative that they can simply elaborate upon an interaction which has happened to them in a manner which actually reflects their own thinking instead of what it actually was. For example, if I had an argument with one of my friends, the argument was not very intense, it was just 1 or 2 minutes long, but my attention is now caught into that interaction only, and now I am arguing and counter arguing from the side of my friend also, and then I am elaborating this argument on and on and on in a way which makes me feel distressed. So, why I am telling all these examples? Because many times the cause of stress is not present in our real time, it is in our imagination, and we are not living in the real moment, in the present moment. Instead of that, we are either living in the past or living in the future, or we are too much engaged mentally in an imagined world where we are arguing and fighting and just trying to extract meanings of somebody's statement or somebody's action. If I try to focus my attention away from all these hypothetical things, imaginative things, and focus on where I am right now, what I am doing at this particular moment, I may feel relaxed immediately, because my present scenarios, the present moment where I am living, in which I am living, is probably not containing anything stressful. I was carrying the load of stress from the past, or I was simply borrowing the load of stress from the future. Okay, or I was busy with enhancing the load by imagining different kind of consequences or situations in my mind. So, coming back to my present moment it will really help me sensing that the level of stress is probably not so high as I think it is. The technique is effective, and even if I be mindful for 5 to 10 minutes intentionally, consciously, by putting in efforts, I can find substantial reduction in stress that I was going through. The third quick technique is known as progressive muscle relaxation. This is a popular technique of stress management where the muscle groups of the body from top to toe are sequentially tensed and then relaxed. This exercise make them comfortable, and we can have a sense of soothing, comfort and relaxation by doing this exercise, which will definitely help reducing the experience and pain of stress. However, if we are not successful to deal with the stress by implementing life skills or by utilizing the quick techniques of managing stress, we must not hesitate to consult a professional. This professional can be a counselor or a therapist who is well trained in conducting such kind of sessions and therapies. And whenever we find ourselves overwhelmed with the stress, it is important to seek professional help. When do we find ourselves overwhelmed? When stress and anxiety starts impacting our daily life and they significantly interfere with the fulfillment of our daily tasks. If they cause some kind of impairment in our daily life, we will call it an overwhelming level of anxiety and stress. So, if this happens with me frequently or this has happened to me once and now it continues, it is the right time to seek the help and advice of a professional. So, the takeaway lessons that we have learned from this particular lecture is, it is better to prevent stress being generated in our life than to cure it once it is generated and we are very much affected by its presence. How can we do this prevention? By learning correct habits or modifying the pre-existed one in the desired way. We can bring about long-term changes in the way we live our life so that we can enhance the quality of our life and reduce the stress present in our current scenarios. Moreover, we can also learn some quick stress management skills that can help me have a quick relief whenever I am in a stressful situation. But at the same time, I should realize the fact that maybe some stress will not be managed in this way. So, for that part of stress, we must not hesitate contacting a professional who is more equipped with different kind of tools and provide a customized package of intervention strategies, intervention programs in order to improve upon our situation. So, with this, here are some references that we can see in order to enhance our knowledge about the subject. A few more references. Thank you very much for your patient listening.